Welcome, everybody. Let's start off today. A lot of emails, responses, regards to some of the student loan forgiveness tirade I went on yesterday, and again, I'm going to spend a decent amount of time this weekend on the program covering it as well. At this point in time, there has not been, and I went through. I think they might have broken the comments record on the Wall Street Journal, the comments section. Again, something I never ever respond to anything or say anything on that, but I'd like to read some of them. And I was actually looking for the left of center comments in support of what the Biden administration is trying to do. And economic idiocy, absolutely inane, usual pluralities, just nonsense, meme type logic. It was awful. It was awful. And today you actually had Obama's chief economic advisor calling Biden's student loan debt bailout reckless. Again, I didn't even get into this yesterday, the inflationary aspect of this. And, we were dealing with a situation right now. Again, we got way too much money out there. I know the Fed's doing what they can and shrinking the money supply and raising interest rates. We talked about here on the program the reality of sort of supply side inflation. Put that aside. In essence, you're dumping over another $300 billion plus, another $300 billion plus into the economy. And I want to reiterate the point. If you got a freshman this year, you're dropping your kid off at school. Guess what? If they've got student loans, they're not including this. So what's going to happen several years down the road. They're going to say, well, that's not fair. That's not fair. We're going to have to do this again. We're going to have to make this, go on in perpetuity. It's patently absurd. I do want to, I saw one comment, and then, several others similar in nature started following suit. And they were talking about some of the lawsuits that they had with some of the for-profit universities. First and foremost, the idea of for-profit universities. What does that mean? Harvard right now, let's put it in perspective. Harvard right now has an endowment that's $50 billion. What are they planning on doing with that $50 billion? Think about that for a second. Play with a calculator. Let's just say they put that $50 billion into CDs or just bought 10-year treasuries with it. The interest alone would cover the tuition of every single kid at that university, grad school, you name it, forever. What do they need? What does Harvard need $50 billion for? Tell me. I don't know if they're still the largest. University of Texas is catching up as well. I think it just passed Yale. So, people, let's be honest here. There's no such thing as nonprofit universities, okay? Universities are hedge funds. It's what they are. They're hedge funds. They've got a myriad of different businesses. They sell books, they provide food, they do sports, they sell apparel. It's a collection of businesses. Oh, yeah, and they supposedly teach kids a thing or two. They're hedge funds. Now, there was universities that existed, colleges out there that didn't have a nonprofit number. Some of them were accused of making promises to kids that they didn't follow through on. And there's a lot of people out there. I think there's a couple 100,000 people saying that, hey, I was duped. I was duped into going to this college, and I didn't graduate, or I didn't make the type of money that I was told I was going to make. Let me ask you a question. You go to school for some bull excrement degree, basic basket weaving. I don't know, 14th century Russian literature, something like that. In essence, aren't you kind of duped too? And I talked about this on the program, and we'll get into it again this weekend. What about Columbia University, Ivy League school? Some master's degree in film. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for this degree. They actually went and they looked at the people that graduated from Columbia with that degree. Are any of them, the next Quentin Tarantino or Martin Scorsese? No. No, they actually went and they found these, and they're working, they're working Starbucks and various different other jobs, looking to pay off insurmountable loans for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't think the colleges and universities know that these degrees are bullshit? They do. They do. But again, oh, they're a nonprofit. Horse crap, horse manure. No, they're not. They just want to collect the money. With that being said, let's say, just for argument's sake, let's say, okay, these kids that went to these for-profit schools were defrauded in some way, shape, manner, or form. If you're defrauded, somebody rips you off here in this country, is it your fellow taxpayers' responsibility to make you whole? Is it? Because, I happen to work in an industry, and I've spent decades of my life trying to protect individual investors. The type of criminality that I have witnessed, that I have seen throughout my career, has been extraordinary. There's tons of fraud, tons of scams when it comes to the investment world. We cover it all the time on my program. Does the taxpayer's responsibility to make these people whole? There's lots of fraud. When you get defrauded by your, I don't know, it's mechanic for your car, does your fellow taxpayer have to make you whole? Sorry, it's just not the way the world works. Anyway, again, I will this weekend on the radio show talk at great length about this. And I'm actually going to get into the financial planning aspect as well, talking about, how do you prepare your kids for college, getting ego out of the equation, having the conversation with your kids about, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Okay. I don't know. I got to go to college and find myself. Well, okay. If you're going to go to college to find yourself, you're going to go to a state school. You're not going to go spend money. Oh, I got into Williams and Hamilton, all these $80,000 a year schools. I don't know what I want to be. Well, I'm not spending the money on you. Nor should you let your kid take out the loans to go there. Let them figure out what they want to be. And education is a tool for making money. That's what it is. I love history. I love all these things. I take classes and things that I'm interested in all the time online. And they're available. Figure it out first. Okay? Anyway, a couple business stories today. China and the United States struck a deal here that's going to allow our accounting regulators to go to Hong Kong and actually audit Chinese companies that are listed on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, trying to basically resolve this standoff. Regulators from the U.S. Public Company Accounting Oversight Board would then travel to the semi-autonomous city. Yeah, it's not autonomous. It's China's. To perform on-site inspections of Chinese companies. Again, the China Securities Regulatory Commission informed the accounting firms about the plan. Again, step in the right direction. Another business story. Again, I know I've talked about this. Yesterday it was announced that Peloton's going to start selling its exercise equipment on Amazon, and the stock went up. And I'm like, why? I mean, Amazon pretty much sells everything, doesn't it? But anyway, their numbers came out today. Their quarterly loss topped $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion. They've lost $2.8 billion this year. They lost $189 million the year before. And that was a year where, guess what? A lot more people were staying home and exercising at home, and many gyms were closed. Listen, again, neato idea. Somebody, eventually the stock will come down to a low price. Maybe somebody should take the thing private. I don't know. Maybe it'll come down to a price, or maybe Apple will, buy it and integrate it into its fitness app. But the the CEO of the company, they're now trying to turn this into more of a subscription company rather than a hardware company. That's a difficult thing to do. That's a difficult thing to do, meaning that they're going to basically have classes and whatnot that you can use on any type of exercise equipment. There's a lot of competition in that arena. This guy seems to think that he's going to get 100 million. He's trying to get to, they got like 25, 30 million subscribers. He wants to get to 100 million. How do you plan on doing that? Yeah. As Quint would say in Jaws, farewell and adieu. Pension funds. I love making fun of the pension fund managers. More often than not, they're just dumb as a box of rocks. They are. It's like pension funds constantly underperforming all the time. And some of the reason why the big pension funds underperform, especially some of the ones for states, municipality governments, is because the people running them are, somebody's cousin's brother's uncle from some politician, and they put them in charge. They don't have a clue what the hell they're doing. There's a scene in the movie Wall Street where Gordon Gekko was going off on a rant talking about that, is this turkey's totally brain dead, losing money. He said, if this guy owned a funeral parlor, nobody would die. Well, pension funds, story Wall Street Journal, pension funds are going to start selling their office buildings. Major U.S. and Canadian pension funds are going to cut back investments in office buildings, betting that prices will likely fall as the 5-day office work week becomes a thing of the past. You guys are just figuring this out now. You just came to the realization that this was happening. I mean, even before COVID, you didn't see issues within this industry. Wow. Okay, so all these pension fund managers, the equivalent of, it rained yesterday, and then they're going out today with an umbrella, and it's a bright and sunny day. I mean, useless. It's absolutely useless. Anyway, saw this yesterday. California is going to ban the sale of new gasoline cars, they're saying, by 2035. I wonder if California going to start looking at some point in time, like over decades, like Cuba, where it's going to be these antique cars, gasoline cars that are there. Anyway, this is an example of I declare, I decree. This is a plan that California has, but they have no idea to get there. There's a big question mark there in the middle. We don't have enough lithium. We don't have enough rare earth minerals. There's nowhere near going to be enough to do this, to get this done in the state of California by then. So what they're hoping for is somebody comes up with some new technology, whatever it may be, to change the dynamic when it comes to batteries. Again, California's a big state. And I mentioned this before. I don't mind electric cars. I think electric cars are fine. I think electric cars are great. And there's a purpose for electric cars. But until they get to a certain point in time where they can charge much faster and they can go a much longer distance, many Americans, it's not for them. They're assuming that they're going to get to there by 2035. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, they've been pitching us on the wonders of solar panels and windmills since the 1970s. And has that technology really gotten much better? Anyway, the UK government is now warning of civil unrest over people's inability to pay energy bills. And then I saw this. This is Emmanuel Macron in France. You remember the Jimmy Carter malaise speech that he gave? He was wearing the sweater, and what was it, 1970 or 79? I don't remember the exact year, right around that point in time. The Jimmy Carter malaise speech. Well, yeah, you got one today. You got Emmanuel Macron basically telling again, this is pathetic. This is pathetic. He went on. This was a camera. This warning about energy prices in France. He says, after the summer holidays, the French should expect to make deep sacrifices in what he called the end of abundance. The country was at a tipping point as it faced difficult winter. Winter is coming. This was Game of Thrones. And a new era of instability due to climate change and Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. What we are currently living through is a kind of major tipping point or great upheaval. We are living the end of what could have seemed an era of abundance, the end of abundance of products, of technologies that always seemed available, the end of the abundance of land and materials, including water. Adding that France and the French felt that they've been living under a series of crises, each worse than the last. You guys did this crap to yourselves. You did it to yourselves, you jerks. Then I went off on this yesterday. You're the ones decided to listen to the preteen Greta. You did this. You know that the electricity prices in Europe, just get a hold of this. Record highs. This is for today. The Nordic countries, 400 euros per megawatt hour. Germany, 600. Before 2020, anything above 75 to 100 euros was considered expensive. That's where they're at right now. Again, ain't cheap here either. You ain't enough seeing many stories. But you dig around, and 20 million American households right now, 1 in 6 American homes are behind on their power bills. I don't know what to tell you, people. You voted for this stuff. I mean, I can talk about this until I'm blue in the face, but you voted for it. You voted for it, and you're still voting for it. So stop your bitching and complaining, okay? I'm telling you like it is here. Again, I'm not Mary Poppins, no spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. You did this if you voted for this. You happy? Anyway. ESG, crazy investment nonsense that we've talked about here on the program. I'm going to hand it to Texas here. Texas just announced that, guess what, BlackRock? Guess what, BNP? Guess what, Credit Suisse? Guess what, UBS? You can't do business in our state. We're not doing business with you anymore because of your open hostility to the oil industry. Good for Texas. This is funny. There's billboards that are popping up in California. This is how low California's gotten, so pathetic it is. They're putting up billboards warning against moving to Texas. And the billboards have, they say this, they got a picture of that Uvalde killer. The Texas miracle died in Uvalde. Don't move to Texas. The billboards have the hooded figure and a crossed out "Don't mess with Texas" slogan. Who actually thought that was going to work? Honestly, someone decides they're going to move to Texas, they're going to see that billboard, they're going to change their mind. I don't know. Again, you got all these nonprofits out there and political action, all this stuff that'll spend money on anything. This, again, doesn't surprise me at all, surprise anybody. And we all knew this was going to happen. This is the run up to the 2020 election. Nate Silver, who is not a conservative. Okay. He's not. What is it? That 58, he's a polling company it's owned by Disney now. He came out and said that liberal public health elites pressured Pfizer to delay fast-track approval of its COVID-19 vaccine until after the 2020 presidential election, denying Donald Trump a political win before voters headed to the polls. We all knew that this was the case. We all knew. And when they were talking about it, the vaccine is coming. Everybody went and said, it's not going to come out until after the election. There's no way. They're not going to allow it. Anyway, again, I don't mean to lecture when it comes to this next topic, but no, I do. I do. I like to have healthy family, healthy friends, healthy clients, healthy business. But I like people who are healthy. Okay, not that I don't like people that are unhealthy. I just want everybody to be healthy. And a lot of it, there's certain things that we have outside of our control. Okay, there's certain things we don't control, but there's certain things we do. And it's another study coming out talking about the importance of strength training and cardio training on a regular basis. They actually said it's the difference if you work out and don't work out. It's actually the difference of not smoking and smoking. Think about that for a second. Again, I reiterate this again. We have modern medicine and the ability for people to live longer and healthier lives, but you want those lives to be lived in a healthy manner. You want to be able to do things. Again, not to mention the costs that are involved if you're unhealthy later on in life. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. If that's not going to motivate it, do it for your family. Do it for the people that love you. Do it for your kids. Just do it, like the Nike slogan says. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com, WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. Have a wonderful day.